That's how you fit an entire fruit salad up your ass.
That's amazing.
I know, right? If only the folks at home were on the pre-show.
Wow.
She's so impressed. Look at her.
I'm never going to be able to unsee that.
Why, you didn't like my whipped cream trick?
No, I didn't. No, it was bad. It probably would have been better if you hadn't have used a fruit that has pokey things to lubricate the whipped cream with. It was too much.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd like to eat some pineapple.
Yeah, but peel it first, man.
Yeah.
Where's the fun in that?
Oh.
Come on, it's called music for my pleasure, not yours.
Wow. I'm DJ Allen.
I'm Bobbiano.
And I am pleased. Also, my name's Heavy Metal Jesus.
Or also Kevin, but we often call him Metal Jesus because we were supposed to have Soft Rock Messiah with us, but he's having connection problems. He may join us later. I have also invited somebody from work who never watched before, but he said he wanted to be a special guest, so I invited him, but he's not here.
I didn't know who you were referring to.
Jamal.
Wait,
Special guest.
Saw on the
Yeah,
okay.
you've met Jamal.
Yeah, I
Special
guess
guest
I
arrive on the short bus?
What?
Special guests arrive on the short bus?
It's possible.
Because they're special. I explained that for the special people out there.
I'm special.
Yeah.
But more like a no onions special rather than a that type of special. That would be bad.
And that's how I want to be. I want to be like that. That's my goal tonight, is to be like that.
Well, the first thing you need to do is try to bite your ear.
Oh, not somebody else's?
No, your ear. Show us what that looks like. That is hilarious.
Combine that with Tourette's, and that's some funny shit. And remember, if you want to write the show and tell us what you really think of my terrible, senseless jokes, the chat line is right behind Tricia there.
It's right there. It's the tlk.io/thegreatestshow. It is open on my computer in case anyone wants to jump in and say hi.
And tell me how much I have offended you, because I love those comments.
We didn't have a topic because I didn't know. I thought Jamal would be joining us, so I didn't really have an anchor. And nobody suggested an anchor, so I threw zombies down there. But what we've been doing is talking about old school video games this whole time. So maybe we'll just keep doing that.
That's strong.
It's drunk? What?
Strong.
Strong. Oh,
Strong. Yeah.
Before we get into that, though, I did get some merch from our recent
Merch.
live at the UFC Portland Fight Night event that happened recently. Best part of the night, the guy in the other section yelling, "Elbow! Elbow! Elbow!" Who are you yelling at, dude?
It's probably his friend's name, who went for beer and couldn't find his way back to the seat.
Well, hilariously, there was like 8 to 10 pre-fights before we got to the main card. He had yelled himself out before we hit the on live TV part. You could hardly hear him.
Wow.
So what was also good about the fight was that we had our own row to ourselves because of the tickets that I purchased.
And where was that row located?
We were right above where the fighters walked out after their match.
Nice.
So they walked right below us.
So I don't know Portuguese, but there was a lot of Brazilians there that night. So I learned from my translator what good fight is in Portuguese.
So he was yelling that at Brazilian players when we were walking below us.
And in the main event, John Lineker, who is Brazilian, he's walking out, and I'm like, Grande luta, Lineker! And he looks up at me like, who the fuck is speaking Portuguese here?
And if you were like one syllable off, you could have said something totally different and not even realize it.
We have a viewer.
Hi, viewer.
For the main fight, they one of the two guys walked out below us too. Because the way they had it set up was everything was completely dark except for the lighting. And then they had the chute where the fire would come out, and there was a hallway thingy for them to walk down. And they would have a spotlight on them, and they would have a camera guy, basically walking backwards in front of him the entire time to record him walking out to the ring. And so when it started, they were coming out on the opposite side from us, and like I said, they were exiting below us. But when it came to the main fight, the first guy came out in a normal place. And then I started noticing cameras and stuff coming over to our side and getting all ready and stuff. I'm like, he's going to walk out here. So I recorded it with my phone.
John Dodson, the blue corner of the main event, walked out where the other guys walked out. But John Lineker, the red corner, walked out where we were sitting.
And of course, you got your picture taken with a belt.
Oh yes, hey, let's share that shit on Facebook. No, let's share that shit with the to that. There's the chat for anyone wondering. But
Chat.
Brian says hi.
hi, Brian. So we're gonna go. No. I'm gonna go to my profile because it's my profile picture.
You're close, personal friends.
Boom!
Well, the truth is, it's just standard industry practice.
I got that belt is fucking heavy, by the way.
Somebody dropped it. Several
Yes.
people before you. We heard it hit the ground.
Yeah, those are two UFC girls that they.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Oh, there's the belt.
Yeah, right there. Nice.
Yeah.
It's funny, Bob. Let's see. Stop. Hammer time. Oh, wait, sorry.
Okay, and now we need to show our shirts again.
Oh yeah, shirts.
Shirts.
Hang on. Yep.
Up here.
Yeah.
There's
Boobs.
the boobs.
Boobs.
Kitty.
Now we both own this shirt, but she decided to wear it. No?
No, I got a different one. Yeah, do you want to see my other two?
Yeah.
I'm wearing this one.
It's plain black, Bob.
Yeah, but my wife likes this one. It's like it's one of those 32 degree shirt. It's supposed to keep you cool. It's like
Well, you know.
Like from Costco.
Yeah, black shirts matter.
black shirts matter. That's true. It's supposed to keep me cool, but I also wear sunglasses to keep me cool.
Yeah, those. Yeah, this shirt. I don't know if the shirt does the same thing. So,
I can't see now. Is it on screen?
Yeah, it's on screen.
Yes. Oh, that's pretty cool.
The cat Death Star, and there's a laser pointer.
Wow.
And what's the other one?
A huge ball of yarn would have also worked for that same thing.
Well, the Death Star on this shirt is a ball of yarn.
I don't think there's no Death Star on The Empire Strikes Back. Back? What am I talking about?
What?
Here it is. The shirt she has been longing for.
For a very long time, yes.
Captain Picard, bake it so.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been talking about that for
months
Months.
and months and months and months. Well, I had a I got an email for $10 off an order of 30 or more. And shirts are generally $10 or $8 to $12 a piece. So we had to buy 3 in order to hit our $30. So when I saw the one that I already had this one. So when I saw the one that he's wearing, I said that he needs to get it so we can be nerds together, rather than me getting that shirt, and we can only wear one at a time. And then I found that other Death Star laser pointer one, along with my Bake It So, which I've wanted forever. So I'm so happy.
Cool. So I came up with a great Halloween costume that I should totally wear this year. Especially since I've got my foot that I have to have in a boot while I'm not walking around.
Okay.
I was thinking if I wore the jersey of that football player who kneels, but I give myself the black eye and I tear the shirt a little bit and I cover it with like footprints, like I got the shit kicked out of me by the other football players. Yeah, I could do that. Maybe like a little bit of blood coming down the one side and a black eye on the other, and then just like tear the shirt up a little bit. And
I thought you were gonna get maybe a second boot and like be a half robot.
That'd be cool too.
Robot.
Just like
Robob! Oh my God, that is brilliant! Stop it.
Robob.
We're done. This doesn't get any better than
Robob.
Wow, how much have you had to drink already tonight?
Just 2.
Okay,
See, just
so
Part human, part machine, all Bob. Dun, dun, dun.
on a scale of 1 to 3, how funny am I? I mean, because he's voting funny.
11.
I've still got those 2
11.
to convince I'm.
I give it a thumbs up.
You've also had too much to drink already.
I did. This is really good. It's like one of the cheapest sodas you can get, and it's called Super Chill. Very, very cheap soda. All right. This is the black cherry one, and oh my gosh, it is like normally we get like a cherry Coke or something, and the flavor it's like Coke with a hint of cherry, and this is like cherry with a hint of Coke. This is like amazingly cherry-y.
I
And
love black cherry sodas. I like that flavor.
And so I'm mixing that with cherry vodka because, well, cherry vodka. So,
Right?
yeah.
If I had something that mixed well with it, I would probably drink some churro rum.
Right here.
Maybe I'll have me mixed drink here next.
Otherwise, all we have is some strawberry lemonade and some 7-Up.
See, 7-Up mixes with a lot of stuff. That's one of my mixers. That mixes with almost everything.
But with 7-Up mixed with cinnamon churro vodka or rum or whatever the fuck that is.
I think it would.
It may.
A pumpkin spice latte.
I don't want a pumpkin spice latte.
Oh, come on. Harness your
Everybody wants pumpkin spice latte.
Listen, if I take a drink of that, what's going to happen is I'm going to shit 7 times tonight and while I'm sleeping. So, do you want that in the bed with us?
It's decaf.
It doesn't matter. That will make me shit.
That's why you go to the bathroom before you go to bed.
I was petting the cat with my foot and I just got bit.
You could just sleep on the toilet.
Who wants to do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, you can. Thank you, Bob.
Well, like a friend of mine today was telling me about how he can only eat like fresh fruits and vegetables right now. He's got this problem in his system, and like he's talking about all this like awesome food that he can't eat. And I'm like, dude, I would eat that anyway. She'd be like, man, I'd be throwing up all over the place. I'm like, then just sit on the edge of the tub right next to the toilet just in case, and eat what you want. And then like if you do, Like, man, that sucked. Wipe off your mouth, rinse out a little bit, and then finish the motherfucker. You know,
Only
round
one,
two.
only one time did I go out. And it was in Puerto Rico. I went out and I drank and I threw up and I come back out of the bathroom and everybody's like, "Oh man, the night's over, isn't it?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm gonna keep going."
Well, you know, the trick to that is like it depends on why you threw up. If you've been drinking throughout the night and you get sick, you throw up. That's usually towards the end of the night. But if you get there and you start drinking a whole lot and you throw up, well, now you can be a badass because the alcohol hasn't even been taking its place in your system yet. So it's like now you can drink like more. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!" After all he drank and he's drinking more, you're like, "Yeah, well, you got rid of the rest of it before it had any effect on your body."
Well, I used to at that point in time I was drinking a lot of Alabama Slammers because it was a big drink that I could get and it tasted great. But the guy that made it wasn't the normal lady that I had make it. So I don't know why
The guy wasn't the normal lady.
Yeah, he wasn't the normal lady. And when
Most guys aren't the normal ladies.
whatever she used as one of the ingredients, he used Jack Daniels instead, and that I got down one drink and I hurled.
Wow.
So there was the two spots. There was the front area where everybody's square dancing and all kinds of bullshit because it was a fucking country bar. Then there was the back area with the pool tables. And sometimes there was a bartender back there. Most of the time there wasn't. Well, that night there was. So from that point on, I don't remember what I started ordering, but he could not fuck it up. I mean, you cannot put Jack Daniels in this and call it whatever you just made. And
Yeah.
that's how I kept going. But there was the jukebox in the back, and I don't remember what the other album was that we jammed out to, but everybody was super into the Crow soundtrack, and we would just turn that thing on and let all the fucking things fly back there because we didn't want to listen to Billy Ray Cyrus and the Watermelon Song or whatever. I can't even tell. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't even know what the Watermelon Song is.
I'm not going to show or play it for anybody. I think I've successfully erased it from my mind, so I might be doing all right.
There is a picture. A friend of mine has 3 pictures, like right next to each other here, that I would love to show because it is pretty cool. But at least one person out of us would not like this at all. The first one is the deer that he shot, and it's laying on the ground. The next one is that same deer hanging up in the garage with the stomach cut open and everything gone. The next one then is 4 pieces of meat on a plate with green beans, mashed potatoes, and gravy. So I won't show that, but it's pretty. Yeah, it's hunting season here, so all of Indiana except for myself hunts now.
Well, it's kind of hunting season in the Midwest, isn't it? Isn't that like a national holiday?
Yeah, I had teachers who would call the day off. Like every year, the first day of hunting season, they took off from teaching.
There were serious talk when I was still in high school about actually just calling school off that day because there were so many people missing. So if there was a class of 26 of us, the first day of hunting, there was like 5 of us. I mean, it was just fucking obscenely small.
And like I said, in Japan, they call off it's pretty much a holiday when the Final Fantasy games are released, Pokemon games are released. It's like nobody goes to work, nobody goes to school, so it's like it's almost a holiday. So they just close everything down. That's awesome.
Yeah, but they can also then go, "Hey, did you start playing the new Final Fantasy game?" And the other guy's like, "I beat it like 4 times. I'm so over it. I've been out for 4 hours." Yeah.
Yeah. Played it, man. I wrote that shit.
I've been cosplaying that for at least 2 hours now. Yeah.
That was really good. I guess one of the pain pills that I'm taking, you're not supposed to drink alcohol with it because my friend who's at Comic-Con, huh?
You're probably not supposed to drink with any pain pills.
Yeah. Well, so
But
this one here makes her throw up. Huh?
what? Say that again?
She said this particular pain pill makes you throw up if you drink alcohol with it. So today, because I knew I was going to be drinking alcohol, I took my other pain pills.
So, because as we discussed 2 weeks ago, most of the warnings are they don't want you operating machinery and stuff because it enhances the alcoholic effect. But you're not operating heavy machinery. You're on a video show podcast on.
Is his chair on wheels?
Oh my God, Bob, you're going to crash!
The chair's not on wheels, but the computer is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's not quite a heavy machine. It's not light, but it's not heavy either.
Bob, you keep doing that, you're going to have some massive guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's see.
Week of Thanksgiving was very popular in Wisconsin. Minnesota was week of two before. That's from Brian.
Hunting season for us was in November, but it was before Thanksgiving because it's always the same weekend that I would go to Hazen for that craft show. So it was.
And our viewer is from Minnesota, so what did he write in chat?
No, that's what Metal Jesus just read.
Sorry.
Come on, DJ, keep up with the rest of us.
I'm sorry, you guys talking?
Let's all pretend like Metal Jesus isn't here.
Hey, I'm trying to contribute. You guys are talking about hunting and whatnot. I've never hunted.
I've never hunted either.
I never will.
I'd like to, but I live in New Jersey.
Well, and most people in North Dakota were always like, "Oh, you don't hunt? You must be one of those I hate hunters people." And I'm like, I'm fairly indifferent to it. It's just that my dad never took me out. I have no reason to want to be sitting in a snow pile shooting at things because I've never been introduced to it. Took my brother out all the time.
I wouldn't have an issue with it. It's just that I couldn't. It was boring. My dad took me out once. He had me holding a gun. I was sitting there against a tree, and I went numb from the cold, waiting, and I never saw anything. And the whole time, all I could think is, I want to go home. I'm fucking freezing. If I saw a deer, yeah, I would have shot at it. I had no problem with that, but I was fucking cold, and I just wanted to go home.
Yeah.
You know?
It's snowing in North Dakota today.
Wow.
All of the North Dakota people are posting pictures on Facebook, and my mom sent me a couple of pictures out their door. I mean, it melted. It didn't stick around, but it did snow. And here today it was 70 and really, really humid out.
So that's not true. It was, so it's been overcast most of the day. There's been a nice wind breeze thing going on. And I would say that it was in the low 60s most of the day. Then all of a sudden, for about an hour and a half, the sun comes out. It's 747 degrees outside. I'm dressed for cool, overcast weather, and all of a sudden I am sweating buckets. I was soaked when I got home.
And I was out during that 1 hour that you're bitching about. So that's why I said I haven't left the house since Monday. Like, I worked on Monday, and I've only gone out to my mailbox since then. And then today I decided to walk up to the grocery store. Because I made Indian food last night.
You made what?
I made Indian food last night.
Oh.
Okay. I made the, like, when we ordered Indian food and Saurab, you know.
We lost your sound. I cannot hear right now. There's no sound.
Sorry, hang on.
Oh, there's sound there.
But I didn't realize that when I started typing, it was going to mute us. So sorry.
And it was only like the last 10 seconds of what you said. Sorry.
There was a 300-pound weight in front of the microphone. 299.8 pound.
No, I am 300 pounds even.
Oh.
So I started my little adventure at 318, and I am now, having worked as a city carrier for a month now. I've been carrying for a month. 3 weeks. I've been carrying for at least 3 weeks. I'm down 18 pounds.
Nice.
I would say like a 6 or so. So okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, Indian food.
Sir Rob?
Yeah, Saurab. Guess the food that we eat. Anyways, the stuff that I like, it translates to butter chicken, and I wasn't really sure why because it didn't seem like butter was that important to the recipe, but. So I found some recipes for it the other day, and I made it last night before DJ got home, and I asked him how it was, and he's like, yeah, it's okay. And I was like, so then tonight, when we're both home and we're reheating the leftovers to eat, we're in the kitchen, and I said, do you want to know what's actually in this, in buttered chicken? And he's like, okay. And so I got my recipe out, and I started reading, like it's got almonds and tomato paste and tomatoes and, coconut milk. And he's like, wait, you made this from scratch? And I said, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, that completely changes things. I thought it was just a bottle of sauce you opened yesterday, and you wanted to know what I thought of it. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
That's why I was so non-committal. I was like, great, sure.
You're like, I totally take back my.
I'm like, so the Indian place we order from, normally I get chicken vindaloo, and she gets this butter chicken.
Butter chicken, yeah.
So I thought, and she got a bottle of this stuff at the grocery store a while back. So I thought that she just opened the bottle and poured it in on the chicken. She's asking me all these weird questions, like, it's good.
It's a bottle of sauce. Why do you care?
That was my thought. It's a fucking bottle. Why are you asking for praise?
Wow.
I'm like, damn it, that took a lot of work.
And tonight I'm like, oh, all those questions make sense now.
Let's redo the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Then I had to cook rice to put it over, and it had all these different spices in it, and this specific Indian spice that I bought special just to make this stuff. It was the first time I got to open it, and
wow.
I'm like, all proud of myself. He's like, eh. And then
I grew the ingredients myself in the garden. What the hell?
Yeah, because I'm like, I had to, and it's interesting making it now to kind of know what the ingredients are that are in it, because it does say that there's a nut sauce, but I couldn't figure out when we would order it from the restaurant how any sort of nut was involved, because this sauce was all creamy and it didn't have it was like chunky peanut butter or something. Well,
it might have been D's nuts.
So some of the other recipes that I looked at, it said you can use cashews or you can use almonds, and some of them said to soak them and then puree them afterwards. So cashews would completely disintegrate, but I put almonds, sliced almonds in it. So
that was our alert. Her phone just went off. That's our alert to take our pills to go to bed.
Oh.
So
we're not doing that.
No.
Tonight.
It's easier to leave it on 7 days a week. So yeah, we and then the few nights before that, I made cashew chicken. So it's totally crazy for me to be cooking Chinese food one night and Indian food another night.
Right.
It's very different.
And tonight, if she hadn't mentioned reheating the Indian food, I might have gone for pizza, because when I dipped 0.2 below 300 pounds yesterday, I was like, oh my God, I want to order pizza. But that's exactly the opposite thing I need to do to maintain this. So this drink is going to kill some. I'm going to have to do some walking tomorrow.
It's what I always did. Like when I was on my weight lossy thing, it's like every time I got like to a benchmark, I would treat myself. It's like I did good. I would weigh myself, and then depending on how much I weighed, depending on how much I allowed myself to eat, but as long as it's going down, it doesn't have to drop down in massive things, as long as it's just going down steadily. So if I didn't really lose anything, I watched what I ate. If I went down a couple notches, I was able to splurge a little, as long as it kept going down. All right, I gotta show you guys this picture. Pull mine up here. This is a dwarf from a dwarven cosplayer from the World of Warcraft. And I'm amazed at this costume that this dude's wearing.
Wow.
Wow. That is.
He's got the barrels tied to his feet, the little casks down here. So he doesn't have to be a short guy. He can be a tall guy, and he's literally got the barrels tied to him. So his feet then are going to be down this whole costume. Here's his boomstick. They called the guns, the boomstick and everything. So I'm pretty impressed by that. That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
But then again, I mean, I don't know. It might even be a statue in the damn place. I don't know. It looks like it might be a mask. Excuse me.
At our Rose City Comic-Con, I walked around the night that the podcast happened. I was walking through the halls, and there was a big wooden Spider-Man statue that people could take pictures near. And so I was standing right in front of it, and he was, kind of crouched down with the one hand out. And basically the fingers were like right above my head. It was a pretty big statue, but it's very cool.
That's cool. I wonder how many people like walk up to statues like that and ask if they can get a picture.
Asking the statue.
She said, the Spider-Man apparently was fairly obvious it was not somebody. I mean, you could tell it was a.
Well, I could. Yeah, you could tell that it was made out of wood. Plus, it was gigantic. But yeah.
Wow.
I see lots of people that have the stilts on to be the really tall things, like Groot, or like somebody with hooves for their legs and stuff.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to be Groot, but I want sheetrocking stilts so that I can be a tall Groot. But sheetrocking stilts are like 175 to 250 for a set. That's a big commitment for a costume.
Yeah.
I discovered that idea at a costume party at a bar in Beulah, North Dakota. There was a guy dressed as the Grim Reaper, and he had his sheetrocking stilts maxed out, so he was like 12 and a half feet tall. And he had this wispy cloak going on behind him, and he had this skull mask, and it was just awesome.
The Soul Taker from our yearly thing, he's a dude on stilts. He's pretty big because, obviously, stilts. Soul Taker Acres is the name of the thing that we have every year here at the fairgrounds.
Not your Halloween camping? You mean like a...
This isn't a camping one. This is a thing that they do at the fairgrounds. It's just like a haunted house thing that they do. And then they have now the zombie paintball shooting thing and all that, which we did last year. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a picture of the Soul Taker. And then this is like two adults that he's standing next to there.
Wow.
And, he just walks around through the crowd of people and everything. But Soul Taker Acres is what it's called because it's a big thing that they do every year.
Well, now that the tall man is dead, I wouldn't mind cosplaying as the tall man. And if anyone gets that reference, please speak up now, otherwise I will explain it.
That's Halloween, isn't it? No, it's a phantasm.
Right there. So my idea for the cosplay is basically I need a suit. It needs to be an older looking suit. Then I just need to put on like a gray shower curtain wig. And when I walk around, I want to have little silver balls attached to me, like clear stuff, so it looks like they're floating on their own, so that I can be tall man.
See, I didn't know he had a name. I referred to him as like the Phantasm guy, the ball with the blade on it, and like she just goes into you, and then the drill bit comes out. And I remember that, but I didn't realize he had a name.
Yeah, it's the tall man. In fact, if you may need to put in phantasm, because other people have started using it. PH. Someone's gonna get to watch Phantasm with me.
Oh God.
Wow, there's a bunch of them. In fact, I was thinking about Phantasm the other day because on that Showbox app, I saw that one of them is on there, and I was thinking, are they releasing another one?
They're not. They're re-released. They're remastering the first one and re-releasing that one. It looks so cool, but it's in high depths. I don't want to see it.
That's pretty cool. I don't remember very little about it. I know that there was like 3 or 4 of them, maybe 5. I don't remember how many there were.
I think there's only 4 of them. There might be a 5th one, but I don't think that the tall man is in that one.
I remember it was cheesy. I remember the ball thing with the blades and all that, and that you were able to buy the ball in the Phantasm magazine. No, not Phantasm magazine. Fangoria magazine.
Fangoria, yeah.
And I think he had like crazy strength. Like would walk with a casket under his arm or something. Or...
Yeah, he was super.
It does say, superhuman strength. Has been seen lifting a man or even an entire occupied coffin with only one arm and little effort. Telekinetic abilities, able to control both inanimate objects and people with only the use of his mind.
I couldn't turn on the TV with only the use of the remote.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what? My drink is almost out. I'm going to show you my telekinetic abilities to bring a drink to me from the fridge. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go get me a drink.
Any parts of the tallman's body severed or otherwise amputated from the whole have been known to subsequently transform into hostile insect-like creatures or bleeding a yellow-colored substance, possibly his blood.
Wow. Oh, right. The goo.
He also has the ability to shapeshift into other people.
It's been years since I watched it. We started watching some of the Puppet Masters not too long ago.
We should. I didn't even think about this. We should totally have a movie club episode every once in a while where we all watch the same movie and we get on and talk about it for a couple hours.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to be talking about it for a couple hours, why don't we do the thing where we watch a movie live on the show and we do like the, what's that?
Commentary.
What's that show called where they did that in space?
Research Science Theater?
Well,
That's the one.
We could make fun of stuff while we're doing it too, but I mean, it would also be neat to just, be.
Oh, hi, kitten.
Like, so if we rotated who chose the movie, as long as it was widely available, we should do movies that are available on Netflix, Hulu, for free, or not free, but accessible legally options.
That's the thing, though. Like, it's all like public broadcast rights and whatnot. That's what MST3K ran.
But we're not going to broadcast the movie, so for us, for instance,
That's true.
let's say we're watching Phantasm. Phantasm will be on, we will be watching it, and the volume will be just enough to hear some dialogue and stuff, but we're going to be commenting over it the whole time. It's going to be this with us watching a movie live.
And what we can do is we can, like, if we tell people like a day or a week to a day in advance, we could be like, all right, if you guys are ready, go ahead and start the movie now. And so, like, the home viewers can be watching it also at the same time. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
It was talk show, do some commentary there.
Yeah. Well, and you can go to like the main scene. It's like, okay, everybody, like, bring it up to the actual main title scene and hit pause. So like anybody who's watching it can bring it up to that main title scene and be like, all right, yo, ready for this?
And they don't need to be, I mean, we're not going to be exactly synced up, but I mean, as long as we're within 3 seconds of each other, we should be all. So I mean,
the volume's down enough to where you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will know what they're saying because it'll be just loud enough for you to hear. Same thing with us. Same thing with Jesus. Oh, man. But we'll be watching the movie. We're not broadcasting anything, and these all we're doing is promoting watching these movies.
Yep. And you're surprised at how much you pick up and how much you remember from these things. I mean, we watched in Puerto Rico one of the Freddy movies completely entirely in Spanish, and nobody in the room, none of us spoke Spanish, but we all knew the movie well enough to where it didn't matter. We were supplying lines. We were saying, it's like that was a blast. That was the most fun I had watching a Freddy movie ever.
You may giggle, but normally when I'm delivering the mail, I've got a song or two or maybe 3 songs running through my head that I'm kind of humming or singing to myself all day long. Today I wanted to try something different, so I literally ran Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan in my head for the full running time because I know the fucking movie by heart.
I do that. You know, a good one to do while you're going to, anything that's got music in it is good to do that way. Or just movies that you've seen like many, many times. Probably like Smokey and the Bandit type movies. You know, like those are great.
I've seen Hunt for Red October more than I've seen any other movie. And I'm not entirely sure why that movie is the one that won, but and for anyone that's wondering, I'm well over 500 times.
Wow.
Wow. I got nothing for that.
Well, and I had 2 copies of the movie, and I sent one to Bob.
Yes, you did. And honestly, I feel bad. I have not had a chance to watch that yet. I actually forgot about it. So I will get it, and I will watch it.
We were going to do, and we've done this bit several times with other things already, but I was going to hand Bob the movie over my camera, and Bob was going to take it and bring it down. It was going to look like I handed it to the camera. But we have done that so many times now. I mailed that copy. Like I don't need 2 copies of the same movie, and I think it's on Netflix even, so I don't even need a copy of the movie.
Wow, not now. I was under the understanding at one point that once it was on Netflix, it stayed on Netflix, and I have been told that I'm very much wrong on that. And you go to watch something, and it's not there anymore. Like the Doctor Who, I'm very upset about that.
Every month they have a list of things that are going to be added and removed.
Yeah.
And so before I realized Hulu had all of the Star Trek movies, I was watching Star Trek II on Netflix, and I thought, I'm done with it. I was cleaning or I was home alone for some reason, so I thought, hey, let's watch Star Trek 3. It's the next movie and thing. It's not on Netflix. What? So it had like Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 5 and then like one of the Next Gen crew. And I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, I discovered that Hulu has the motion picture all the way through Nemesis.
Nice. I don't know if I have them all, but I'm thinking it's like 5 discs. I don't know how many of the movies there were, but at Sam's Club, it had like 1 and 2. They were like $10 for 1 and 2, $10 for 3 and 4, $10 for. There was just like I got them out in the apartment where it's like the DVDs of like 2-packs of the Star Trek movies, and I think I have them all. It's a stack. I don't know how many are there.
There are currently 13, but the 3 newest ones, 11, 12, and 13, are the Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto ones. So they're the JJ Trek. So the other 10 are the original series cast and then the Next Generation cast.
Okay, that's probably what I have is the original 10 because I don't. Yeah, they're all in a stack. They've been out there forever.
Well, and something I didn't think about until I saw it on iTunes was iTunes started bundling 2, 3, and 4 together as a trilogy. And I'm like, that's a really weird set of numbers to pick apart to put as a trilogy. And then I thought about it. Star Trek 2 it's its own movie and it sets things up, but it leads into Star Trek 3, which Star Trek 3 is also kind of its own thing, but that leads into Star Trek 4, and then Star Trek 4 ends the trilogy. There's one solid story going through all 3 movies. I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, would you pick up 2? Like, if you didn't know Star Trek, would you pick up 2 and start watching it, or would you watch 1 first and then watch 2?
Now, not having seen it and heard about it, or not having seen it nor heard about it?
Like, you don't know what this is. Like, everybody seems to like Star Trek. I'm going to give it a shot. I would start with 1.
Well, yeah. I'm more of a completionist like that. Like, I have had numerous people pointing me towards the Dresden books. So I started reading the first book, which, in all honesty, is almost unreadable.
Dresden?
it gets better over time. I'll give you that.
We have to do a commercial.
So,
By book 4, it's it talks to you.
so which book is The Summer Night?
3, I think, or 5. Let me go look.
Okay. So I know a good number of the Knights of the Night guys. I also know the guys who used to do Cool Shite on the Tube. And both of those groups of people have suggested that you don't start with book 1, you don't start with book 2. And then they started naming some books to start with. And I know that I've either read 2 of them now, audiobooks.
Wait.
What?
You read audiobooks?
It's reading. Someone's reading to me, so it's being read, therefore I am reading.
Okay, gotcha. Carry on. I was going to say, because you could just keep rereading that over and over again. It's just like the title and who's saying it. And, I read this one like 100 times.
It's book 4.
Okay, so what's book 3's title?
Let me. Book 3 is Great Peril.
So what's book 5?
Death Mask.
All right, so I have read Summer Night and Death Mask. Now, while I was somewhat drawn into the world, I don't know if I don't like the whole vibe. So I gave it a shot, and I enjoyed what I was listening to. The Knights of the Night guys, when they're playing the game, I enjoyed the story because they're not all into the Dresden has to be present type thing. I mean, it's just in the same general world. Like if I was running a Star Trek game for you guys, we wouldn't be on the Enterprise. We would be on a ship in that universe. But so I've read those 2 books. I enjoyed them. I would probably enjoy hearing the next one. But I had tried reading, like actually reading the first book, and that I couldn't do it. And I did the 4 and the 5.
I'll definitely agree that like the first 3 needs polishing, but by book 4 he starts to find his voice, and by like book 6 he's found it and he's rocking it. So, I'll forgive him the pastiches that he works with.
And if it takes you that long to find your voice, if it takes you 6 books to find your voice, Let
No,
me
like
know when I need to start reading, because at that point I haven't got time for your shit. I started drinking apple cider, pineapple cider.
Yeah, you did.
So we need to do a commercial, kids, because we got a sponsor. Did you know that?
I did not. Who's sponsoring us?
oh,
Made by Tricia and her upcycled pet grass kits.
Oh,
What
Oh, wow.
this is it does it come with dirt?
Yeah, there's dirt in there.
Okay, so it's cans where food came in of various types, cat food, tuna, other kinds of cans.
Our cat has graciously allowed us to feed her wet food to get the empty cans.
And then she goes and knits or crochets.
Those are crocheted.
Okay, so then she crochets these wonderful little can cozies, and then packages them with dirt and wheat grass seed.
Yep.
So all you need to do is plant the seed in the dirt and water it, and grass grows that your pets can eat.
that's pretty cool.
Okay,
Oh.
I gotta.
We have one that's grown?
Well, kind of.
Yes. She's paying me big bucks to make this commercial.
This one is kind of sparse, and I trimmed it today.
Okay. So this is a, you know what? Hold it up against my black shirt to be able to see a lot better. This is a complete, this is it growing, and yeah, it's a little bit sparse, but man, there's a lot of fucking seed in there. So it'll get thicker, but yeah, so the cat and the guinea pig can eat it, which is what we have, and then,
Ooh, the pig is looking at us.
the pig is probably like, hey, you got some fucking grass over there. I want some grass. And nothing.
Yeah. So they're actually going to show us how it works now.
Here we go. Guinea pig. There we go. Keep going for it.
Wow. Yes, you are live on national TV.
Well, this isn't national. Well, this is global, and it's not TV. It's the internet.
It's so not.
Look at him. Look at him go. Zero, baby.
I think he's looking at me. Hi.
He might be. He's like really tugging on that grass.
I know, he wants to pull it out of your hand.
Okay. And so that
Okay, I'll go get
we are sponsored by Tricia, madebytricia.com. That's Tricia, made by Tricia. And her new rebudding pet enterprise, because we started making the dog treats again. Because someone finally broke down and gave in. I wore her down.
Oh, yeah, I've got another store selling them now.
Is the same one as before? The same same site?
The website madebytricia.com. The wheatgrass kits and the dog treats are on there. There's a store in Portland now that's selling the upcycled kits and the dog treats and crocheted hats.
Cool.
Oh, piggy, my goodness. There's not going to be any grass left when he's done with this. Oh, holy cow. Little man, he's like, wow, okay. Yep, so the kit has the dirt packed in there, and the seeds are in bags, and it's got the cute little cover and instructions on how to grow wheatgrass seeds.
That's cool.
And we used to buy the wheatgrass from the grocery store. Have it like all and in the vegetable section for like at Safeway. Or you can buy cat grass already grown in a container for about $7.99 at PetSmart.
Wow.
Yeah. So
How much?
yeah. So I've just It normally grows for maybe 3 weeks, and then it starts dying off. I have some wheatgrass that I planted a month and a half ago outside, and it's still growing. I've noticed it lasts a whole lot longer with me growing it from seed versus having it already started in the grocery store. And it could also be, the quality of seed, because I guess I tried to find a good source online for, good seeds. So there's the end of that kit.
Wow.
He ate it all.
But that'll grow again, though, right?
It will.
And he's already looking around like, where did you move
Yeah.
the grass to?
Poor little guy.
Must have more.
I have we gotta show them the new cans that I haven't put up online yet.
Oh, it's a new product.
Yep.
Yay!
Never seen anywhere before. Okay. So this one, because of the colors, is iron can.
Huh. Nice.
Yeah, because she started asking me what color, so I mean, she had red, and I chose the gold that was in front of us, and well, there was Iron Man, and then I made her make a Hulk, and that's War Machine, black and silver, and then Hawkeye, and then Captain America.
Wow.
Now, I told her that I'd have her do a Black Widow one, but that's just solid black, and that's no fun. And I completely forgot about Thor, but Thor doesn't really have a color scheme going on.
Yeah, you have to make that one on chainmail.
Pikachu yellow and maybe Captain America red.
So it would probably be pretty similar to Iron Can, but more yellow versus gold.
Yeah, like a lighter yellow.
I
A little bit of whiteness.
just love Iron Can.
I am Iron Can. Bad news, everybody. Phantasm is not available on Hulu nor Netflix.
Oh.
I made a gigantic green one today, too, out of a container.
Nice. I might have that on DVD, though. I got a lot of the old horror movies. I got a lot of horror movies up there.
Now, I'm sure that all of us have a means of obtaining the movie, but that's all we do so everybody can watch. Okay, let's get to your...
That's the loft up there that has like tons of movies, and then I also have like a book up there that has like one of those big old DVD books that's got like 200 spots, so that's full of them.
So, Bob, what of Hulu and Netflix, which ones do you have?
I do not have Hulu. I have just Netflix.
Okay. Metal Jesus?
We also have the Prime. Amazon Prime.
Okay, yeah, we have all three. So, what do you have, Jesus?
Just Netflix.
Okay. So then, we could do... my lovely wife here and I had a podcast called Kitties and Bunnies...
Present opinionated jackasses.
Yeah, Kitties and Bunnies presents opinionated jackasses, and it was us watching movies, I think. So we were picking like serious B movies to watch, like, well, not even B. They don't even rate B, like M, serious M movies. And I think we watched like a Shark-saurus versus Croco monster. I don't know. I don't know what the fucking movie was called, but they were god-awful terrible.
I remember listening to that episode.
We could also We could also do that. Just watch terrible, terrible movies. Awful. Because Netflix, they're like, yeah, we're gonna hire. It's a company called Asylum. We're gonna hire the Asylum to make rip-offs of everything. So instead of Pacific Rim, it's Atlantic Rim. Instead of Battleship, it's American Warships. And they're terrible because they've got stock footage and they've got like a room that they redecorate for every scene. So the submarine, let's see, it was a mega shark versus some octave velociraptor or something. So their submarine, they're inside a submarine. It was basically a closet with some lights on behind and a really terrible steering wheel. It was fucking awful. And Getty Gibson was in it. What's that?
This is it looks like the new Phantasm movie. I have that on that app because I also have that Showbox app that allows me to download movies to my phone.
Okay.
And the only Phantasm movie that's on there it's the Phantasm Ravager, which looks like it's the newest of it's the 2016, the final installment of the long-running Phantasm series. So that's the new one.
The first Phantasm I ever saw was actually Phantasm 2. So I was so confused because the two main characters in Phantasm 2 are constantly making references to Phantasm. I'm like, well, shit! So after I finished watching Phantasm 2, I watched Phantasm and then rewatched Phantasm 2. I'm like, oh, this makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another form. And then the other day we watched Ghostbusters through here because wife wanted to watch that, the new Ghostbusters movie. So we plugged in the HDMI cable to the laptop and TV, and I plugged my phone into my computer, and then we were just able to watch it on the TV through my phone, through the computer, into the TV.
I discovered the other day that Showbox is specifically an Android app.
Oh, I'll be damned.
I can go charge up one of our Android tablets.
So I've been anxiously awaiting for the new Ghostbusters to be rentable on iTunes. I would like to rent it. Yes.
Thank you, Kitty.
Thank you, Kitty. Because I want to see it. Because everybody's like, everybody's all hating. Oh, you can't do that. You're recasting with women. Well, what? Just watch the fucking movie. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, shut the fuck up.
I was pretty impressed by it. It was pretty good.
Well, the whiners, what the whiners are complaining about is they're worried that, oh my God, if a Lady Ghostbusters works, then why don't they recast, I don't know, Goonies to all ladies and just redo that one, and then redo Back to the Future with all ladies, and then reshift all the roles for Smokey and the Bandit, but make it modern and ladies are doing it.
Well, and the problem is that's what they're doing, though, and that they're going through all the movies where let's take this movie and change them all into black. We'll take this movie and we'll change them all into girls, and this movie will be half of them are black, half of them are gay, and then half of them are girls. And it just seems like they're trying to make it to where every movie now has enough for every minority, so that everybody can enjoy the movie. It's weird that they're doing it. But it was a pretty good movie, though. It was worth watching.
I don't see the mass conspiracy with the movies like that. But, I mean, it's the Ghostbusters thing I thought happened naturally. So Dan Aykroyd had been pushing for Ghostbusters 3. The guy that played Egon died in the process. And then one of the executives go, listen, we'd like to try something different. We want to reboot the franchise and kind of try something different. We've got a lot of funny ladies. Let's put the ladies in the role. And it kind of developed. I thought it developed naturally. It wasn't hey, let's recast Ghostbusters as all women. No, it was a long, detailed process.
There was potential to there where like they could have been the next generation. Now we had the 3 surviving Ghostbusters did show up in the movie, but none of them played a Ghostbuster. They were all playing like different parts in the movie, and it's like they could have made an appearance as like the old ones, but they couldn't because the old ones didn't exist.
But So without spoiling anything, does the new Ghostbusters, do they treat it as if this is the first time this has happened?
Yes.
Okay, so I would think that if they did these are the offspring or the next generation or whatever, that the whole ghost phenomenon would be overwhelming to deal with. Not even, I mean, it would be so like. I'm going to use a superhero reference. Let's say Iron Man. No, let's do the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards has invented so many things in the Marvel Universe. Flying cars, dimensional portals, suits that enhance strength, suits that adapt to whatever superpower people are doing. All kinds of shit. And you know how much of it has permeated the world? None of it. Because if everybody had a flying car, oh my fucking God, now Marvel has gone off in a direction that they can't relate to the real world anymore because they have created a new universe.
Yeah. Well, you also have the fact that, like, between the first one and the second one, now, if you remember the second Ghostbusters movie, they were essentially out of work. They were doing birthday parties, and they were all like, oh, yay, the Ghostbusters are here. I thought we were going to get a clown. This is all you can get. They were like, because they took care of the ghost problem. So now that the this is years later, it basically saying that.
Yeah, but how many times can you hit the reset button like that before it becomes like the Doctor Who trope? The first episode, the Doctor's always crazy, the new one, and then he becomes who he should be. Mm-hmm. It's a trope now.
Meow. Says the kitty.
She's loud, yeah.
Yeah, she is. So, Brian, our viewer, gave. I'm not sure where to obtain this movie from.
What's the right icon?
It actually looks like the middle left. Weird though is that mine has that little icon in the. It says show box. It's like show box, two separate words, but mine has that little squiggly line. It's not. You know what? It's not an app. What I did is I went to the website. You download it from the website.
Okay.
I don't know if I can do that.
I went to the on the phone. I went to through Google and I put in. Actually, hold on a second, because I had to do it for my wife's phone yesterday, because I had to do it to mine. So I put in. Let me see here. Show space box space app.
And while you're doing that, just a quick aside, Brian, our viewer, gave me what we were talking about the Asylum's alternate title. So he came up with The Hunt for Blue February, which I thought was hilarious. And then he asked the question, what would they do with Porky's? And I'm like, oh my God, we should watch Porky's.
We'll call it Baconies.
No, I'm saying that's the first movie we should watch. Is watch Porky's.
So I did a Google search for Showbox app, and the one here it says Showbox app download, and then when you go to that one, it just gives you the option to download it.
Okay. Showbox app.
Now, this is something I did not have to do on mine, but I did have to do on hers, is that it says to go to your security setting and turn on unknown source.
Right, that's what I was going to say is I didn't know if it would have to be cracked or something. But, okay.
Yeah. And so once you have it to where it'll accept a unknown source, and on mine I didn't have to do it, and on my wife's it said that I couldn't. And then they gave you the option to change it, and I was able to just click the option. It went right to the settings that I needed. I flipped on.
Okay.
For anyone not participating in the chat.
Oh my gosh.
Never watched Porky's. How is that even possible?
Sorry, I was watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Do you not have
Porky.
subscribe as a youth? Come on.
Hey, don't blame me.
Probably sort of.
Yeah.
Like it was on in the room I was in.
Today, for the first time, Suicide Squad came up on this app. But which is weird because normally it's like, hey, it's still in movie theaters, and now you can get it on here. But that one there it's weird that it took so long to come out. Star Trek Beyond's on here. And Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, that was the other one. There's a lot of little callbacks to the original Ghostbusters.
Showbox tutorials for iPad and iPhone.
I tried looking for an iPhone.
So yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get it through there or not, but I mean it's totally worth a shot. But
Well, the problem is that we're probably gonna. There's a tutorial on how to get it for iPad and iPhone.
Which means you're going to have to root it or
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
or the other is, I don't know, rooting is the one. Or basically open it so that we can put anything on the damn phone. Which jailbreak is the other word I'm looking for. Which is, you know, we could put anything on it, but we void the warranty basically at that point. So
right, I got a hacked PSP.
Bob, you know why you like boobs?
Why is that? I think I do. But wait, I want to hear your opinion.
Well, it's just Bob with an extra O.
That's probably why. Yeah.
I don't think boobies should be called boobies because think about that. It sounds like it's evil. Like boobies. They should be called the abies because everybody's happy to see them. But don't call them hoo-rabies. That's a whole different thing.
Wow. See, I have big issues with these people who are like protesting boobs. I think that's like the most fucked up thing where they're saying how that boobs are not a sex symbol. That's like saying you do not like seeing naked people. Well, yeah, I do. No, you don't. But I totally do. No, you do not. And this is not. You do not like this.
The problem is that the prudish religious people are running the show, but violence toward gore and nasty shit happening on TV, yet you can't show one breast without somebody fainting.
That is pretty weird. They should come in pairs.
I was watching PBS one night. It was a detective mystery thing. I think it was on before Doctor Who one night, and I was just watching it so that I could, wait for Doctor Who. And all of a sudden, they drag a body out of a lake. It's a lady. She's buck naked, and there are boobs all over the place. And I'm like, what? And then I found out later that British people don't have the issue that we have because they're not prudes. They're like,
I was gonna say that is the prudish thing is very.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, I heard that even the Queen has boobs.
She. So it's the genitals are all about context. So they don't really do the whole hang the boobs out in people's faces and motorboat them. Okay, that was a dead body. They had drug it out of the lake. It was discolored a little bit, and yes, it had boobs because it was a lady.
And nobody cares because it was just almost like when you look at a tattoo magazine. You're not looking at a tattoo magazine because, okay, it shows her ass here and her tits here. You're looking at a tattoo magazine because of the art in the magazine. If you want to see boobs and ass, you look at a magazine made for looking at boobs and ass.
Yeah. That's it. Show's over. We're done.
Yeah.
We fit all the boobage.
It's weird though that I mean there's people who are protesting boobs and it's like there's I don't know I don't know how anybody can tell me that I'm wrong about what I like, that it is not a sex symbol. It's like I don't know, if I'm turned on by it then I think that yeah it is, so fuck you very much. You know what I mean? It just seems weird to me.
I just think that we need to stop concentrating so much on we need to stop worrying about what women are doing with women's bodies. Okay? I don't need to block them from having abortions because it's their fucking body. I don't need to be telling them what to wear because it's their fucking body. I don't need to be telling them they can't go topless because men go topless all the time because it's their fucking body. Right?
Now, apparently, a lot of places have a law on that a woman is allowed to go topless anywhere where a man is allowed to go topless. This includes public places, to where if a man can be in a beach with no shirt on, a woman can be at the same beach. And the argument of, well, if there's kids here, it doesn't matter. If men can do it, women can do it. And apparently there are laws about that.
And that's the way it should be.
Yes.
And if I get a boner looking at that, that's on me.
Right. Yeah.
Physically, it's on me. That's
Again, kitten. Thank you. Thank you for your stick again. You brought the stick again.
What? There were boobs in Return of the Jedi?
Wow.
I need to know that scene because I want to watch that scene.
Yeah. And let's see here. I don't even know what the.
But I was worried you froze because you said in, and then you were dead quiet and you were still.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I didn't see any smoke coming out of your ear, so I wasn't sure.
We were discussing today about how it is totally possible to be ordained as a Jedi. You could be ordained a Jedi.
Well, so many people put Jedi as the religion in the UK that it is official. It's an official religion.
Oh,
Yeah, apparently here's a shot.
So it's in Jabba. So hang on. The dancer in front of Jabba the Hutt who gets dropped down to get eaten. As she is struggling, one of them pops out, and you get more than a side boob. Wow. Totally never caught that.
Now, what you were talking about, DJ, falls more into the anarchist thought of there should not be laws telling other people what they should be allowed to do. There was a thing that they were talking about on that podcast where it's saying, like, should you be allowed to do this on your own property? And the answer is always yes. If I want to be able to have a car on my property that hasn't ran in a year, that's my property, and I should be able to do that. Should you be forced to cut your grass, making sure that it's this many inches tall? No, it's my property. I should be able to have my grass whatever length that I want. And everybody insisted that, no, I should be able to do whatever I want on my property. And then when the question was asked, what about your neighbor? Should your neighbor be allowed to do this? Like, well, no, because that's distracting to me. And all of a sudden when it comes to the other person, then they had issues. And it's like, why are there so many laws telling you what you can do? Why are there not laws that just say, anarchist isn't lawless. It's just less control of the government. Them doing less, saying, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And it's like, why can't people do their own thing their own way?
I'm not for anarchy. I am for less laws based on religious reasons.
Well, every step that you go into the less laws, that's another step towards anarchy. So true, absolute anarchy would destroy our country. You could not push the button that says anarchy and it worked. It would destroy things. But each step in that path in that direction is a plus.
But and so I'm not saying let's remove all laws. What I'm saying is in North Dakota it's illegal to open your business before noon on Sunday. Why is that? A religious reason. Why are you limiting my ability to do anything based on a 2,000-year-old text written by some fucking idiot in a cave who claims to have seen some sort of Messiah when he was probably hopped up on some mushroom-fueled peyote rage and just started throwing shit down on a page, and there's a bunch of people that worship a sky wizard because of it.
Yeah. Well, look at like the places that you can't collect rainwater, or you can't eat. You can eat eggs from your own chicken, but you can't sell them to your neighbor because that's illegal and they're unsafe. You can drink milk from your own cow, but you can't sell it to your neighbor because that's unsafe. There's like so many laws out there that they're doing, and it's not about safety. It's about because if these things weren't laws, then the government's not getting their cut.
I need to know about collecting the rainwater.
Oh yeah, that's illegal in a lot of states. Instead, the water comes down, goes into the gutters, goes down into the system, gets collected in there, and then piped all the way back to the same place in these underwater aquifers that are or underground aquifers. A lot of them aren't covered. So in the process of doing this, so much of it is evaporating on this route. So instead of taking the water that comes down onto your roof and watering your garden with it, it has to go down through the gutter system, miles down this aquifer, and then piped back to your house so that you can spray it with your hose, and in the process losing a lot of water. Yeah, and if you're caught collecting rainwater, it's huge fines and up to prison and all this other stuff.
Is it illegal in Indiana?
I do not believe so.
I can find out. Indiana is doesn't look like it. The state DNR encourages the use of rain barrels as a method of reducing runoff and using water wisely. I'll post a link in the show chat, but
it's illegal in Colorado.
Now, here's the thing that's fucked up about that is that it's like we were saying before, that as soon as that law comes into play, if you have a bucket in your backyard or a piece of tarp out there and it rains and water collects on top of it, you have broken the law. You just collected rainwater.
huh.
And some of these things, this should not be a law. It shouldn't be. Why is it? You may not be aware of this, but many western states, including Utah, Washington, Colorado, have all outlawed individuals from collecting rainwater on their own property because, according to officials, that rain belongs to someone else.
So I have the list. It is Colorado.
Where it's illegal?
Where it's illegal. Or there are laws on the books prohibiting it, not necessarily flat out making it illegal. So Colorado, Arizona, Illinois, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Washington.
And who does it belong to? Apparently it belongs to the government, because then the government takes it into their little thing. They pipe it to your house and you buy it from them. So apparently the water that falls on your property is owned by the government and you do not have the right to collect it.
Well, okay, so that link that Kevin shared, it says Oregon has restrictions and regulations. However, rainwater harvesting is permitted, provided it is harvested from roof surfaces only.
So if I have a bucket sitting on the deck, just collecting it, falling directly into the bucket.
That is breaking. That's what I was saying, is that as soon as the law is made, there's so many technicalities that could be taken from this law, saying, well, it doesn't say that I can't. Well, it doesn't say that you can either. You know, that type of thing. Well, you know what? That goes against your constitutional rights. that says that the constitutional was the that if the Constitution doesn't say that it's wrong, it's okay, and that kind of goes against that. You know, I don't know, it's all fucked up. But there's like so many things. We got I think I mentioned this before. My plan was to bail at midnight here, and I got like 5 minutes for that, but I may stay on a little bit longer. There's a place not too far from here, it's a farm that sells the milk and the eggs and stuff, and it all is required by law to be marked, not for human consumption, because you cannot, it is illegal. The farmers can eat the eggs, they can drink the milk, but anybody else, it's illegal because it's not safe. It's safe for the farmer, but it's not safe for anybody else. Because it hasn't been.
What the fuck takes you aside from like, hey, it's leaving my property and going to yours?
Yep, exactly. Isn't that great? These things should not be laws.
Dog treats here in Oregon have to have the words "not for human consumption" on them.
Wow.
Which, hey, that makes sense because they were for dogs, but...
What was your question?
Who?
Kevin.
Kevin.
What are you saying, Kevin?
Because you're giving it to the dog, but, you know, giving nutritional needs.
Well, all the ingredients are perfectly safe for humans. It's just marketed for animals. The same thing with that fish mox. The fish mox is marketed for not for human consumption, for fish only. But it's the exact same ingredients as the amoxicillin that you would use for yourself. But because it's marketed for fish.
Well, when we forgot, when we went to Beulah one weekend, and we stayed longer than we were supposed to, we didn't have enough of Holden's medication with us. So we had to have our vet call a pharmacy in Beulah so that we could get one pill of phenobarbital for him for his seizures. And we went to the drugstore that everyone uses, you know, a human drugstore, for his phenobarbital, because it's, again, the exact same drug, whether an animal is taking it or a human being is taking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't seem right to me.
While Bob is still on, I am going to undrink something, and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
You guys can continue talking about how stupid laws are.
But yeah, it's and I'm not saying, and it was even said on that one podcast I listened to, that if there were anybody who is for anarchy, the whole anarchist thing, if there was a button that said you push this, and anarchy is not abolishing laws, it's getting the government out of stuff. Where you can have speed limits in your town. You can have, like, you know, it's not about no laws, it's about less government. There's so much stuff that the government interferes with our personal lives, that there's laws in each state with the sexual positions you're not allowed to have with your partner. But why the fuck does that? Makes no sense to me. I can understand, like, you know, not doing stuff with children or animals or something, but like the actual acts that you do with your spouse being illegal, well, maybe if you're doing it in Pizza Hut, then yeah, but if you're doing it in your own home, why should that have anything to do with the government at all?
Wait, we can do it in Pizza Hut?
I think that was the point, is that you couldn't. Like that would be the...
Well,
no, actually, you can do it in Pizza Hut as long as you top themselves in pepperoni.
But the position laws, the position and the sodomy laws on the books are all for religious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm with her and we like doing it in the ass, I'm going to do it in the ass, and I don't care what the laws are, because there's not going to be a police force that busts in and catches us in the act, because what do? We get the whole house bugged so that as soon as we start making heaving noises, they burst in and go, oh, and right there we're doing it missionary. And they're like, oh, sorry.
Yes, sir. Continue, guys. Ignore us.
Exactly. So it's the religious reasons behind no sodomy, for instance, are to prevent gay men from having sex. But gay men are still having sex. They're just not broadcasting. Hey, we're having sex tonight. I'm going down on my partner. He's going down on me.
It's just, I don't understand. There's like so many laws that should not be laws. And like I said, anarchy is not lawless. You still have laws. You still have to have rules. It's just less government involvement. And I think that that's what every part of society should be striving for, less and less. Not no government, but less government. Strive for it. Head in that direction. You know, a little bit less of government involvement until you have like as far as you can go, and then figure out what's next.
If everyone who voted Republican actually voted for the people that want smaller government, we would have a smaller government. But all the people that proclaim themselves to be for smaller government keep putting people who make the government bigger into office. What is Trump going to do, for instance? He's going to make the government bigger.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because he won't be able to govern on his own because he's so stupid. He's going to have everybody around him do the job for him. He's made that point several times.
What are business people? They are the kings of bureaucracy. So they are going to create bureaucracies.
Levels.
Yeah, there's going to be 17 levels of management to get to him. That's the problem is anyone that says, I want smaller government, and then they vote for somebody that has no intention of eliminating anything government-wise, they intend making it bigger. It doesn't make any sense. Vote for the people that do what you want to do rather than for the guy that has the fucking letter beside his name.
I was watching a TV show the other day, and it was basically the topic was voting. And they asked the one lady, they're like, the little kids are like, well, who are you going to vote for? And she goes, whoever the Democratic nominee is, you know, whoever the Democrat is that's running. And the kid asks, well, how do you know to vote for them if you don't even know who the candidate is? You know, you're just voting that party line. And so then she went and found this quiz online to tell you basically who your voting style would fit with based on the ideas that you agree with or disagree with. And one of the questions was, do you support a wall being built between the United States and Mexico? And the lady looks at the kid and goes, you mean there isn't one already? And so basically every answer the lady had was a Trump view for the most part. And you know, so the kid's like, you know, this is who your candidate's supposed to be. And she's like, no, I'm a Democrat. And the kid's like, no, you're not.
People don't know. They literally do not know.
Yeah.
None. So I am for smaller government, but though I am left-leaning, there is no candidate that has presented themselves at this point that will make the government smaller. Thus, if I am choosing between preset items, I won't get a smaller government. So I know at that point I need to be looking at other things because that, at this point, is going to be a pipe dream. The government is only going to get bigger.
Right. See, to me, guns is a big issue. The idea of somebody saying that you can't have guns anymore bothers the shit out of me. And that's something that Hillary's big on. And she said so many times that no private civilian should ever own guns. Well, like I said, I got friends who hunt. There's people who defend their own property. I've got a 38 within reach from my bed. I don't know. I mean, look at the Chicago has got a record high for killings this year, and Chicago does not have No one's allowed to legally have guns in Chicago, and yet more people are dying from gunshots in Chicago this year. It's record. Well, because the good guys don't have guns. It's just the bad guys who have guns. And I don't know. I want to be able to defend my home, and that's what I do. I got a fucking gun.
Now, just think about this. Now, I know that this isn't reality, and I know that this isn't going to happen, but let's just pretend for a minute that what I say is totally possible, okay?
Okay.
If nobody has a gun, then you don't have to defend yourself against somebody else with a gun because they won't have a gun.
If somebody comes into my home with a knife, I'm going to shoot them in the head.
No, nobody has a gun.
Nobody has gun.
Right. That's what I'm saying is that, like, right now, if a guy comes in my home with a knife, I'm going to shoot him in the head. He doesn't need to have a gun. He's in my home with a weapon. I'm going to do whatever I can to kill him. What's that? Oh, yeah, the hunting also. But, yeah, they don't have to have a gun. They just have to be putting my family in danger in my home. So, granted, if there was no guns at all, and they came into my house, let's say they had a knife, well, then I would use a sword or a large hammer or a baseball bat. I would still defend myself with something.
Yeah.
And, but of course, you're putting yourself more in danger going up against somebody with a weapon that's the same. If you come into my house with a knife, I will put a bullet in your head. I can do that from across the room. I can do that from across my house. I'm a good shot. You don't have to be right next to them like you do with.
So, right. Okay. So, I, for reasons that most of you already know, am not a big gun person. But as soon as those words come out of my mouth, some of the extreme people immediately go, "You can't have my guns." I didn't say I was taking guns away from anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I want gun control. If someone is on a no-fly list, they should not own a gun, period.
I agree.
If someone has a mental disability, they should not have a gun.
But you know the problem with that? There's a problem with that. Is that if that's the case, I guarantee they will be putting more and more people on a mental disability thing, just like they do with kids right now. Every child in the government schools now needs Ritalin because he has a mental disorder. Every child who's on Ritalin, they're going to say, "Well, you have mental issues, you can't get a gun."
I would be for drawing a specific line saying the person that can't walk on their own and needs someone with them 100% of their time, that person does not need to own a firearm. Or if you've spent 15 years of your life in a mental facility without access to the free world and all of a sudden you get out for whatever reason, I don't care. You should not own a fucking firearm.
If you're really good at first-person shooter games, I want you to have a gun. So we're gonna start monitoring your GameStop purchases.
Yeah.
So
that goes every kid from my age on down.
So my favorite meme that I like to post on Facebook is an empty room. Sometimes it's a warehouse. Sometimes it's like a bedroom. Sometimes it's a giant facility of some other kind, and it's always empty. And the title is "All the Guns Obama Has Taken Away Since He Took Office," and it's that because no one has ever taken guns away. So
no, in fact, it's the opposite. Obama is the reason why we have more guns right now, because every time this thing with guns coming up and he says, "I want more control, I want more control," people would go out and buy more guns. So every time he'd say that, he sold more guns than the NRA did. So
you are a mentally stable, responsible individual who has you have firearm training from a military institution.
Mm-hmm.
You have displayed no mental disabilities. Except for a propensity for bendy straws.
I don't know.
We won't get into that.
He won't move out of Indiana.
That's true. Well, I was in the psych ward. I have tried to kill myself multiple times. They would consider this mentally unstable, and they wouldn't allow me to have guns.
So
Got like my huge scars across my wrists and everything, and they would say that I should not own a gun.
well, everybody always goes to the bad guys are going to get the guns anyway. See, that's if I'm making all guns electronically identifiable at some point, like
like a fingerprint reader
so
almost
if
to fire.
Bob grabs one of his weapons, as soon as he grabs the grip, the gun knows I belong to this guy. I'm good. So now, yes, software could be hacked, but I'm saying is without what we have now is almost no gun control compared to just, and yes, I know there is some gun control, but
We have a lot.
we don't have as much as we need because, so there's one of two possibilities here. We either need more gun control than what we have because what we have isn't working, or we need some serious cash put into all the mental problems people have that do all these shootings, because that's the first thing that everybody points at. Oh, he's got mental problems. Okay, so we have a rampant mental problem thing. So if we're not going to have gun control, we better be working on the goddamn mental thing. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and give us a little bit of fucking gun control, because I'm not looking to take your gun away. I just want to make it harder for idiots and crazy people to get guns.
But your opinion of idiots and crazy people is different from my opinion and different from everybody's opinion. And, and we want to be able to hunt. Like I said, my whole family hunts. I don't. My whole family hunts.
I'm okay with it, because hunters don't
I
do
do
anything
groundhogs and stuff that come out and tear up my backyard.
Dogs shoot themselves. Like sometimes their dogs shoot them, or
Yeah.
the deer gets angry and attacks. And
I can
gun
tell
goes
you
up.
that I have never, in fact, I can't even tell you if I've ever heard about a hunter doing anything immensely stupid, except for,
Cheney.
well, there's two now, except for the guys that occupied the Oregon wildlife thing here
Oh,
recently,
yeah.
because you know that they hunt. But how does occupying a vacant wildlife facility raising awareness for grazing rights? That doesn't connect with me.
But again, on the same token, who were they really hurting? They weren't hurting anybody. They were just like staying there. And it's like the Black Lives Matters people who are trying to block the entire freeways are doing more damage than what these guys were doing. And they were considered terrorists, and these guys are protesters. It's like, wait, those guys were just in a cabin by themselves, not doing anything wrong until other people showed up and started fucking with them. These guys are literally fucking with people, beating the shit out of any white person that they see, trying to stop traffic, preventing emergency vehicles from getting by. And they're protesters, and these other guys are terrorists.
Well, because we live in the state of the Malheur thing, we actually heard probably a lot more often, like what was going on, because it was like down the state from here.
Mhm.
But they were leaving the property and going places to harass the police and the federal agents, and they were pulling shit. They weren't just peaceful people.
Right, and I'm sure that there's people that were even outside their group that were coming in who were like,
But yeah, and then of course again, because we're here, there have been a lot of just recently the Black Lives Matter and the Don't Shoot PDX people
yeah,
have been really, they've been disrupting traffic, and they stormed City Hall, and they had to go on the lockdown. And I know, like, this was at the beginning of the year when before the candidates were chosen, when Bernie Sanders was still out. I think it was in Washington at one of his rallies that they basically came up and grabbed the microphone away from him and said, "No, you need to let us speak." And they took over the whole thing. I mean, there's ways to get your ideas across, and there's ways to not get your ideas across.
Right. They're actually, every time they do this stuff, they're making the issue tougher for them. Every time that a cop is trying to stop somebody and the person being stopped pulls a gun so that the cop doesn't get a gun out on them, they're getting shot because of the shit that they're doing, and then because they're putting these cops in harm, it keeps escalating. It's doing the stair-stepping thing, escalating. Instead of just doing what the fuck they're being told to do, they're in the cops' face. They're making it dangerous for the cops. My dad is retiring next year, and I am so happy about that because I am terrified of my dad getting shot by some motherfucker out there who has to prove himself to his friends because his life matters. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, is that the people who say Black Lives Matters and the people who say that all lives matters, and I don't care what you say, it doesn't. There's a small handful of lives that matter to me. And I'm sure that these other lives matter to somebody, somewhere, but it doesn't matter to me. And if you got some worthless piece of shit out there selling meth in front of a school, their life doesn't matter to me. I don't care what color they are. I don't care their nationality or their sexual, or I don't care. If you're out there selling freaking drugs to kids, your life does not matter. You're a waste of my oxygen. There's a lot of things that are going on where I don't know why that when you look at the news, and here's the thing, the media is the big cause of all of this. The media is the ones who are causing that thing where they don't say 32-year-old man was shot by a 47-year-old unarmed. They don't say this unarmed person was shot by this person. They always make that distinction: black person, white person. They always make that distinction. Why? Because divide and conquer. They want to divide everything. They want to divide the races. They want to divide the sexes. They divide everything because as long as we're fighting each other, we're not fighting the government. Now, you were talking about good guys, bad guys, and the whole armed and unarmed thing. If you take, let's say there were no guns in anybody's hands at all, well, the big enemy still has the guns, and that's the government. They still have the guns, and that's some scary shit. And because like every other country where the government had the guns and the people didn't, the same thing happened. Just saying. I don't consider the government to be on our side, ever.
I'm all about breaking us up into, if not larger states, then letting the states have most of the control. You know what? If North Dakota wants to have businesses closed until noon on Sunday, and that starts at Thursday night at 6, and they just want to have the whole weekend for church stuff, great. If the population votes for it, let them do it.
Let them do it.
But don't.
Yeah, my phone. It said, "I'm dying." I'm gonna put this on a charger. Keep talking. I'm right here.
Okay. So Washington, Oregon, Colorado, and I'm pretty sure California. Oh, we lost Metal Jesus.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure California is next. We've all legalized weed. There is a saying in the United States that as California goes, so goes the nation. So California was the first to ban smoking in public places, and it is going all over the place. They've got all kinds of other laws that have spread over. So if they get weed, recreational weed, legalized, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a federal law at some point. Mm-hmm. But if fat white guys, bald white guys with no teeth and wearing bib overalls all the time want to live in a mountain in Utah, let them. Yeah. And if you want to vote that you can only wear bibs except for Sundays where you wear bibs and a tie, and it's a law, they voted on it. Let them do it. I'm not going to live there.
Required to wear footwear. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I have to wear footwear on Sundays. Everyone must be banjo proficient by age 12.
God bless you. Right.
But, so the only thing the federal government
You can do that because you're ordained.
I totally can.
The only thing the federal government should be doing is operating our national military and maintaining our currency. But because we are a representative republic instead of an actual democracy, these things are not, we're not, people stopped voting for what was right and started voting for the guy they knew, which no one in government, abso-fucking-lutely no one deserves to be in office for 40 fucking years.
No, nobody does. In fact, nobody actually deserves to be in office. It's like, who out there isn't going to lie to us? The problem is that when they go in to be in office, when you're going in to be a senator and all that, all these people go in with all these promises. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do this. They're actually do not allow them to vote on anything until they have raised millions of dollars. They have to get on and pretty much do the telemarketer thing where they raise money for their group before they're even allowed to vote the first time. They're pretty much selling their souls before they even get a chance to vote. Jack was actually in politics for a while. No. He said that was one of the, like, this is what I hear. Now, I don't know the truth on it. It's one of the podcasts I listens to is they were talking about that, and the guy knows what he's talking about on a lot of shit. And he was involved in politics for a while, and that was one of the things he was talking about.
As long as he doesn't pray on every podcast, I'll be more inclined to believe him.
No, he rarely talks about the old religious thing at all. You're talking like literally praying, like God-like praying, or like.
So the occupiers, the wildlife occupiers, they had a connection with a specific radio show guy. He podcasts all the time, and we listened live the night that the last night they occupied the thing, and they fucking prayed like 47 times that night. And it was all within like a 3-hour period because I don't think we listened more than 3 hours. 40 plus times they prayed. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna die. We're gonna shoot our way out, and they're gonna kill us." No. Let's pray.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that gonna do?
Yeah, I agree, but I'm not a praying person, so I totally agree with you. Now you had there was a thing here a month ago. It was pretty fucked up. It was all over Facebook saying about how because of parking tickets, a couple officers went to a house for warrants on parking tickets and ends up shooting the woman and hitting her 5-year-old son or in front of the 5-year-old son or something over parking tickets. And it was a huge thing on social media. Well, because, that's what happened. They went there over parking tickets, and they end up just shooting her in front of the child, or the child gets hit. I don't remember the specifics behind it. But that's not what happened. That's what happened, but it's not all that happened. She had a shotgun in there. She had on social media talking to people.
That's the one we heard where she had the weapon that caused them to start shooting.
Exactly. Where she was like talking on social media about it, and she was saying, "Oh my gosh, the police are here," and the kid's like freaking out, and she's like, "What are they gonna do?" It's like, "They're gonna kill us." I mean, it's like she's telling this child that the cops are here to kill them.
I remember.
But you hear that. All you hear on social media is that they went there for the warrant for tickets, and she shot this woman. And that's what happened. Yes, that's exactly what happened. But there's more to it that wasn't told on social media. The only reason they said that was to make the police look bad, because they want us and the police to be on different sides. Two groups, separate them. It's.
Yeah, when I see things online, I often try to find multiple sources on the story, and I usually go look for, the debunk websites or the myths, especially if it's a meme.
Yeah.
Like we have, there's a one that I ran across today, and so did DJ, that said something about a distraction, and in the meantime, bees were added to the endangered species list for the first time. And I'm like, really, were they? And so I go Googling, bees endangered species list, and yes, 7 specific species of bees native to Hawaii were added to the endangered species list.
Wow.
So, yes, these were added, but
Now they've had like crazy amounts of whole hives and like millions of bees all across America are dying.
right.
Just so you know, I didn't do that. That wasn't me. But yeah, now my dad, he's very adamant on the idea of anything on Facebook is a lie. And I tell him it is not a lie. It's a source of information. It's not the truth, but it's not a lie. Just because you see it on Facebook, you can't say, well, that was on Facebook, so it's not true. It gives you a source, things that you never knew about in the first place. And now you use the internet to find the answers. Not that anywhere else that you find is going to be any better, but like we said before, it doesn't matter what topic you look up, you're going to find tons of information for this side and you're going to find tons of information on this side. Just like there's absolute evidence that God is real and absolute total proof evidence that God is not real. You know, it just depends on the sites you look at. So and you got to do your research. Now, don't get me wrong. One of the things that always piss me off on Facebook is if you comment on something and you have the jackwagons who start yelling at you saying, do your fucking research before you there's always somebody who says, before you comment, research. You know, and it's like, well, no, I don't have to do that. I can literally get on here and say whatever I want because it's the fucking internet. It's Facebook. If you're talking about this like huge debate thing and I want to get on there and talk about my underwear, I can do that. I can talk about anything I want. I don't have to research it first. And there are the two sides. But yes, I did my research, and these 20 sources here all say that I'm right. You know, and these 20 sources here say that you're right. But yeah.
The jackwagons that bother me are the ones that comment on the post. Hey, so-and-so got caught with a boob out at a red carpet premiere. And then the post is, well, who is that? Really? You're going to comment on that and not fucking check Google before you just...
Right. Yeah. I Google a lot of stuff on here. Now, unfortunately, Google is one of the ones that they know 100% that Google does sell information. It is one of the eyes of the government. So anything that you Google in there it is government, not controlled, but it's watched. But keywords get sent to them and key conversations get sent to them. Things that you're doing, it gets saved. So, I mean, I don't know how much you can trust everything you can find on Google, but the fact that Google is a search engine that opens up everything else, could there be sites that have the absolute evidence that are available to you that aren't on Google's search engine because somebody out there doesn't want you to see those sites? It's possible. I don't know if it's true or not. It's possible that they restrict things that we see because they control the information. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the keywords happen everywhere. So, you know,
that's even telephone. It has been for 20 years.
If you mention Muslim or Islam, and then you start talking about, I don't know, airplanes and use the word hijack, and then we veer off and suddenly start talking about how bomb that party was, I've now just said all the keywords that should flag and get me, you know, looked at. But any intelligent analyst is going to look at that and go, oh.
Yeah, so viewers, I hope you enjoyed the last show of the greatest show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just happen to say all the key words there.
Well, there's a list of words, and I
exactly.
I used them in a post on one of my old versions of my website a long time ago, but they weren't. It was like one word was here, one word was there, one word was here, and they weren't connected at all. And I used all of them just to make sure that I hit them. And I'm just wondering, God, is someone sitting behind a desk somewhere with a flashing red light, and they're like, "Oh my God, this guy's talking about bombing, hijackings, and oh."
Yep. It's 12:30, man. I was actually going to bail a half hour ago. But one more thing I was going to mention here, speaking of the flashing lights. You know, you're a big Star Trek fan, and every Star Trek episode, when you have that huge wall of blinking lights, I always wonder. It's not like they're labeled. It's not like this light flashes when this happens and this light flashes when this happens. This one here, every time a door opens, this one flashes. It's just a huge wall of flashing lights. And I could just imagine somebody standing there looking at the lights going, everything appears to be flashing right here. It's
Well,
I never mentioned this wall of flashing lights. That's not labeled on anything.
there's an episode of Battlestar Galactica where there's damage being done to the ship, and they go to this panel where there are like little LEDs sticking out around certain parts of the ship picture.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that thinking, really? You got LEDs telling you red or green whether or not something's good. So if it turns red, what does that mean? Is there pressure in that area? Is it on fire? Did someone throw up? Did they in an air vent? What's going on? I mean, sure, it's red.
Yeah, it could be anything.
What it means is, quick, send a human being there to check on it. Report back to you and make sure they're in a red shirt.
My goal, Bob, is if we don't do long super shows like we have in the past, is to hit the 2-hour mark. And we can actually stop.
Sorry, I'm just like I can't get. I'm moving around and I can't get comfortable in this.
Well, the last thing we're going to talk about.
Did you have that shot?
Not yet. That's like a week from Monday.
Oh.
So the last thing we're going to talk about on the air to let everybody know we're discussing this is the November 6th is the 100th episode show. It is on a Sunday afternoon, or an afternoon for the East Coast, noon for those of us on the West Coast. And we're going to be doing it then. Because our days off don't necessarily mesh anymore, I want to know what your thoughts are on a Sunday show time slot permanently.
Yeah, on the weekdays it has to be early because my Sundays are usually I have to take a big old happy nap so that I can I work third shift, so I have to go to work I got to be at work at 10:30, and then I work until morning. So I take on the weekends I usually flip my hours so that I can be awake when my wife's awake and be asleep when my wife's asleep, and then on the weekdays I flip back to my third shift schedule. So Sunday is usually a day where I get some sleep and then I'm awake and then I get some more sleep and then I'm go to work. So Sundays might be pretty difficult. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Because what are your days off weekly?
I get off Friday morning, and I got to go back to work Sunday night. Except right now because I haven't worked in almost 3 weeks.
Because Sunday is the only day off I have that's steady. Otherwise, I rotate. So it advances one day every week. So, and if I get a Friday off, I also get the Saturday off, which means then I get a 3-day weekend. So this coming week, for instance, it's Sunday, Wednesday is my day off. So, so if we had it not on Sunday, that would be we have to have it at night because I'll most likely be working at that point. But
right.
And I don't want to jump the show all over the fucking place, but I mean,
yeah,
something we can talk about. But I wanted to put that out there so that everybody knows that the show is probably not going to be on Saturday nights. Well, it maybe will. I don't know. Do we want to keep it on Saturday nights after the 100th?
Yeah, it works for us, I know. And except for the times when it doesn't, and I let you know in advance.
Which the pre-show, don't let that cat out of the bag. We have come up with an idea for. The only thing that worries me about the Saturday nights is maybe if I don't get off in time, I can't get home in time. Therefore, we start later. But if we keep starting at the same time we already are, and we want to do our one-shot role or our role-playing game episode where we're doing live role-playing, I don't know if 3 hours is enough, which means you're staying up really late.
Right. Yeah.
Well, instead of having to work out every detail of this plan that's never going to happen, why don't we just go and you can discuss this every single week like you already do? 'Cause you spoke 35 minutes ago, and you keep talking.
I just wanted to put that out there. So
Staying up late isn't too big of a deal. I mean, I do work third shift, so staying up, I usually am up all night long. So, I mean, if I just do it this night, I could do that.
I'll put that in our group discussion, and we'll get everybody's input. But we thank Soft Rock Messiah for not being on the episode, but joining us briefly in the pre-show. I don't know what happened to Metal Jesus, but thanks for joining us. And Bob, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro. I like being on the show. It's fun.
Well, without you and me, there wouldn't be a show.
You have your wife, lady.
Yes, but she wasn't on the earliest episodes, and then while you have popped in and out, you have been the anchor. So, but we'll see you next week, Bob.
Bye, guys.
Bye.